But were you consuming his material though? Like, let's say before all of this shit happened.
100%.
Not as a journalist, but just like as an audience member.
My career is longer than his career. My career as a journalist is longer than his career, so it overlaps, right? But yeah, I mean, I interviewed Drake once in 2009. I've saved it for the book, and I met about guerrilla journalism because he came into my club. Right, this is back when he was saying "diss me" and you'll never hear a reply.
You'll never hear a reply.
Yeah, and I was critical about stuff like that. I was critical of that. I was like, "Yo, it's not a hip hop thing."
Famous last words.
And he was like, "Yeah, you know what? But this is what I had. Like, this is probably the moment I had the most respect for him because I was talking to him, and he was like, this was at Southpaw. I was at this club called Southpaw in Brooklyn.
Okay,
that was the club where I was talking about my rise in the independent in that scene. A lot of events took place at that club, right? And so I went from being in the back of the club, covering whoever was performing, to hosting events at that club, right? So anytime somebody of note came through that building, someone would call me and tell me to come through. So I got a call that Drake was in there because Zoe Kravitz was performing. So it was Lenny Kravitz, Zoe Kravitz and her band, and Drake was in there. And it wasn't even that packed, right? So I got on the train, showed up, right? Got 3 questions with Drake, and he was nice enough to give them to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm guerrilla journalist. I'm not there. This isn't some sit down plan, nothing. You know, this is like, hey, I'm a dude right here recording shit on my BlackBerry. Let's get this together.
On the BlackBerry.
He was cool enough to talk to me. At that moment, I realized he was taller than I assumed he was. He's got some stature on him. And I asked him. One was like a basically introductory question. I asked him a question about my favorite Drake lyric, which was at the time was, management want me to go to the club. They said I have fun, but I can't imagine how. Because all I see is my ex-girl standing with my next girl, standing with the girl that I'm fucking right now. And it can get weird. I love that line. That's so far gone era was special, right? And so I asked about that. And I'm like, how do you, whatever. I can't remember. I asked him about that. Then I asked him about diss me and never hear a reply for it.
Diss me and never hear a reply for it.
That was the 3-question interview. I got so good at 3-question interviews back then that it helped build my entire career. Right. So I got the 3-question interview with Drake and I asked him about that. And I respected his answer so much because I thought it was some pussy shit that he was on. And he was like, no, actually, you know what? I've already gone through that era of my career. I know what the difference between rap beef and real beef is, you know what I'm saying? And I need to focus on building things and not destroying things, right? I got so much respect for him.
The media training.
Yo, that was so early, whatever it was. But I wasn't aware of all that stuff, right? I'm in Brooklyn. That's when I find out about Aristo and Big Payne. Yep. That's when I find out about Good Riddance and all that stuff. That's when that's how I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I wouldn't be out here trying to beef either. I done made it from getting almost
he just escaped a bunch of beef.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm with it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So that era to me, that was a real person. That was a real person. Now we're over here however many years later, and apparently nobody likes him. I don't think they're all bandwagon. And his security be beating people up. He's got all these, you know, he's talking about everybody's girl for so much. Kendrick Lamar brought that boy back to diss me. You'll never hear a reply for it. That's the last thing he said on the Hard Part 6. You can drop them all. I'm not replying. He finally went back to that. Maybe we can get back to being a real person in his art and his music. And I think it'd be great if he actually had something he stood for other than, you know, his personal perspective.
Yo, Justin, that just hit me in the chest right there because you brought it full circle. Listen, as somebody who's been here and seen his rise from back when he was freestyling in front of the clubs and stuff like that, and you know, I was there for all of those Aristo beefs and Big Page and all that. I seen all that from ground zero,
right?
But I had no idea that you spoke to him right after that era. So you gotten to see Drake full circle, like not even full circle, but you've seen him from the genesis to like pretty much degrees. Now.
Yeah, I mean, almost full circle. He's basically back this me and never hear a reply for it, at least with Kendrick.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's where my perspective is with him.
Oh, it makes your perspective gives so much more depth to your perspective because you literally look the man in the eyes and ask questions to him when he was just in the beginning of the tunnel, man.
And he was cool enough to do it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I've never done I don't do diss tracks. I don't hate on his music. You can't hate on Drake's music. He's got too much flyness to hate on. Even Drake is like, he's like Super Mario. Okay, you might hate video games, you still know Mario. Okay, you might hate hip hop, you still know Drake, right?
Yeah.
He's way too talented for as narrow as he is, in my opinion. But that is my opinion on the things that I appreciate about hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that comes from. Outside of that, I don't know those other things. You know what I mean? Like, it's a small industry. Of course, people, pillow talk in all kinds of different directions, but I haven't seen him assault anybody. I've never seen him do anything inappropriate with an underage woman. I've never seen him, like I got a phone call one day when his security was fucking somebody up at an event, you know what I mean? But that's what security is supposed to do. That's why I would need security too if I, had people testing me all around the world. I mean, one of the breakdowns we did before it blew up was, this is 2015. This was like when it was just the news-based ones. And it looked at that week where Drake was at, he was at King of the Dot.
Mm-hmm.
With Murder Mook, the Murder Mook King of the Dot thing happened. Suge Knight threatened Drake. Diddy, I think that's the same week, Diddy smacked Drake.
Jesus.
He shot an air ball at a Kentucky basketball game, and then Jay Prince released a he was doing calling cards. I think it was called courtesy call. My bad. That's how he opened all the Rap-A-Lot records. He came out defending Drake. And then, I was talking to, I got someone at Rap-A-Lot to talk about, what that actually meant. They said, we want to let all these people know who out here picking on Drake, that he's one of us and we have his back. You know what I'm saying? And the whole point of that video is Drake the most powerful man in music right now? Look at this. Battle rap, Suge Knight, Diddy, Jay Prince. Is he the dude?
Everybody wants a piece of him.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't I was like, my videos then all ended with, I don't have the answers to these questions. But like that's a crazy week to have. Like the stuff that he's expecting. My security will be rocking heads too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not out here, I'm not looking at any of that other stuff. I'm just saying, as an artist, and the things that I value in hip hop most, he used to be very good at, except for, he used to be very good at that when it came to describing his own life. I mean, even Charged Up has one of the very few lyrics you'll get from Drake where he talks about a social issue. He's like, cops out here shooting people with their hands up, and you Meek Mill out here doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he could be that. He could be so much more, and so much more than I think he, for one reason or another, allows himself to present. And I think that's the only thing left, because outside of that, it'll be interesting to see. A hit song is a hit song, but, it'll be interesting to see what happens over time, because, if he keeps making certain missteps, Black people in America, like we don't, like when Black people stop talking about you or stop supporting you, it resonates. Like, like there's a publication, it was a Black sports publication called The Undefeated. You know what I mean? And they did a top 50 athletes of all times list. They left Tiger Woods off.
Damn.
They left Tiger Woods off because Tiger Woods spent all this time saying he was Kabbalah Asian. When Tiger Woods showed up,
take that card.
right. When Tiger Woods showed up, every Black dad was taking their sons to learn golf somewhere. When he did that, we just leave him alone. He's still Tiger Woods, just out there.
Take that card away from you there, sir. We don't take that black card, put it right back in our own pocket thing.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Because we're used to a lot of Kid Rocks, right? Clarence Thomas, like Post Malone. Like,
dog, you're making my heart beat, because I don't want Drake to be put in those categories with these names.
That's why I think being a person and finding something you really care about is like, it's going to be necessary. Because what he did on That Sexy Red shit, it's not even streaming well. It's only got like 2.5 million streams on Spotify.
It's because the song is not good. And I've already publicly said this, and I'm not going to go into another rant about it. Like, if you're going to choose a song to come back on, Don't choose the song that everything else outside of your verse is just auditorily just irritating.
And also rap about something better.
Yeah, that too.
We love hip hop.